You're listening to the Pittsburgh Pile Driver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
Hello. Guess what? No, I'm not going to guess what. I'm just going to straight up tell you. It's P3 time. Whenever, wherever you're listening to this, prepare to be underwhelmed. As usual. But, good news. The four horse morons of the idiot apocalypse are here to suck the entertainment blood out of your body and bring upon us the Armageddon of podcasts. So, if 2020 wasn't bad enough, now you've got us. Congratulations. Your ears are probably going to bleed. But in any case, it's that time. Yes, that magical time of the month. No, not the time where you bleed for 7 days. Maybe unless you're beef. But for the rest of us men, it is not time to bleed. It is time to rejoice. Because we're going to ask you a question. And the question is, will Beef the Legend hold his sausage fingers tightly gripped around that Chooserweight championship? Will he manage to make it for more than one title defense? Can he do it? Nobody knows. Or will Poot, the Barred Beast, gore his way into yet another legendary streak of a title reign and hold it until the glorious coming of 2021. It's a very big possibility. But coming out of left field, you have the Goldberg of the P3 podcast. Will Tiger Bomb Tom once again regain the part-time Chooserweight championship? Strap in. There's also a wild card. Will the madness set in? Will Alec Ransom be able to somehow luck his way into yet another title reign, only to lose it in controversy? Well, if there is a God, it probably won't happen. You know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? That means it's a pick show. So get ready, strap in. If we were any sort of professional podcast, we wouldn't go into a lengthy diatribe on every single pick, but we're not a professional podcast. So get ready to listen to us explain every single motherfucking choice we make. Because, as our silver-tongued bard would say, reasons. Picks, bitches!
Picks!
Before we get to that, though, I must say,
I resent that remark.
Just like that, my intro is already derailed.
We have a very important bit of legal business to handle here, so I'm going to take it from here real quick. So, on behalf of the Legend Bard Tiger LLC legal firm, our representative Alec Ransom, the aforementioned victim here, has a trademark issue with one badass Mr. Eddie Kingston.
That's very going with it.
That is
At
true.
this point,
Okay.
at this point, we would like to cordially invite Mr. Eddie Kingston to grieve his to fight for the title of the Mad King, as his video wall did in fact try to call him, on this show, or he can meet Ransom in a ring. Either way, we're going to be entertained. But Mr. Eddie Kingston,
I like this.
The clock is ticking. You're going to be hearing from us now. To the picks.
Didn't I start calling myself that first?
Mm-hmm.
You did, but it was
Sons of
also
bitches.
It's also the fact that I'm like, listen, even in jest, Beef basically said, "Hey, Ransom's calling you out, Eddie Kingston." I wouldn't do that even.
I'm scared to death. I'm
he's
scared
my
to death.
advocate and speaks for me.
I'm scared to death that Eddie Kingston may actually hear this and may actually come and kill one of us or all of us. Who knows? Because he's a crazy motherfucker.
I mean, Ransom's got a gun.
If 2020 ends
Ransom's
with me
got a
being
gun.
shut up. 2020 ends with me being murdered by an up and coming wrestler.
Holy shit.
I think I'd call that an end to a successful year.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. It's a pretty good one. We could have every show would be a memorial. It would start with Rip Ransom, the true Mad King.
Rip Ransom!
The true,
Rip Ransom!
the one true Mad King. All right.
Rip Ransom. That's my new name. Alec Ransom is dead. He's replaced by Rip Ransom.
And I
Ransom.
resent being the Goldberg. You could pick that literally any.
Tiger.
Tiger.
I hate you all. You can think of any part-timer, anyone except that piece of shit. Come on now. Give me some credit.
Fuck.
Hey, listen, I'm just saying that I truly believe in your strength, in the power of you as a former Marine. I know you've got it in you, but I have a sinking feeling that if you tried to give Beef the Legend a jackhammer, it would look just like giving Goldberg, or just like Goldberg giving the Undertaker a jackhammer.
Oh,
look,
sloppy hammer.
I would give all of my meager broadcast money I have to see Tom give a jackhammer to Beef.
Yeah,
I would give you the brick knife trademark.
Oh, Tom, you're doing it. I want that brick knife trademark.
All right, fuck it. I'm gonna start doing push-ups during the podcast.
I tell you what, we get
big strong boy.
We get some more. We'll get some more fucking jackassery like today, and I may just let you try. All right, so on to the picks, shall we? As the champion,
what event is this?
Clash of the Night of the Champions.
Of the
right?
Dead.
Of the Dead.
Dead, that's right. Sorry. Yes, Clash of the Night of the Champions of the Dead. So I'll lead off as champ. That's only fair.
Poot, I like seeing your big dumb face, man. I like this. Yeah.
We'll start on the pre-show with the Raw Women's title, which, I mean, I don't know, man. Like,
why is the Raw Women's title on the pre-show?
But, I mean, what other title would you swap in there? Like
the Intercontinental title, of course. That's where it usually goes.
But it's Zelina Vega, like, trying to fight Asuka. I mean, I don't think this match goes more than like 5 minutes, if that.
Oh yeah, that is okay. Sorry, I didn't realize who was in that match. That's definitely pre-show material.
You know what the sad thing is? Zelina Vega is actually a really, really good talent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not in the ring. Like she's a great hand. She's a wonderful manager and probably the best in the game right now. But
I would love to see Zelina Vega versus Lana in a title match. I think that would be a barn burner.
I think it would be too if they let Zelina Vega do what she does, because like apparently she is good in the ring. She just hasn't gotten the flex.
Right.
We'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
So
anyway,
let's start off your geriatric fucking scribblings of picks there, Beef. Who's up first?
Yeah, like I said, I'll lead off, and I'm just going to go Asuka because it's the easy choice. Boot.
Oh, absolutely, my waifu, Asuka.
Waifu, Ransom.
Asuka.
Tiger Bomb.
Asuka number 1.
Oh.
That's terribly racist. We're going to have to cut that out. The other women's title.
We've literally said worse.
He's talking in English. He's speaking English. He's fine. Sucky, $5. Oh.
Whoa.
All right. This is quickly becoming terrible. So anyway, Eddie Kingston, just hit me up and I'll just make sure you give Ransom your address. Anyway, so Bayley versus Cross is the other women's title match in another title match.
Tim Allen cocaine.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I feel like, yeah, exactly. I feel like WWE is just like, yeah, let's just throw some shit together. I feel like NXT is like, yeah, let's just throw some shit together. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be bad. So, Bayley versus Cross in a match that, why? Poot, you would be first on this one.
Oh, Bayley. Absolutely. Absolutely Bayley. There's no reason for her to lose it to anyone but Sasha Banks.
Ramsomniac.
Oh, Bayley.
That butt.
Tiger Bomb.
Yeah, definitely Bayley.
Hey, we want some Bayley. Across the board.
Yeah, we do. Tom, what would you do?
I would.
Uppercut.
You would.
Catchphrase.
Boobs and
hey, everyone, it's time to get ready for bed. Thanks, Fitbit. Anyway.
It's got a boobs and a butt, and Tom would.
I have standards.
Oh, it'll have Tom Wood if he has
you
his
have
say.
boobs and a butt, and I would not. Okay.
Fair enough. Well, that's your loss, man.
He doesn't have a butt.
Okay, Ransom. That's true. My butt is very. It's not really there. Anyway, so women's tag team title match.
Ain't no junk in
Shayna
that trunk.
Baszler, Nia Jax versus the Riot Squad, which is Ruby Riot and Liv Morgan. Ransom, what you got?
Who are the champions?
Baszler and Nia
What a
Jax.
champion.
They just won that, right? At
Yeah.
Payback?
Yes.
But that doesn't mean shit.
Nope.
Yeah, we'll say those two clowns. Because why the hell not? I don't know.
Baszler and Nia, that is.
Yeah.
All right. Missed your Tiger Bomb, Tom.
Probably. Yeah, they're probably gonna retain.
I also am picking Shania.
Shania.
Shania. I'm gonna go with Baszler Jax. Absolutely.
What a gripping event that we're picking this time.
Just so you know, Poot, I had that from whenever I did have my my reign long ago, so
That's fair.
it should be no big surprise.
Yeah, does this seem so far in the picks like it's lackluster?
Much like the event. You know what? So,
No, I
to
mean
be
not
fair,
our picks. I meant the event. Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But to be fair, a lot of times these stupid fucking throwaway pay-per-views that they're just like, hey, let's see what works. We get some of the best matches. So I'm not going to shit on it until I see it, but my expectations are very, very low. SmackDown Tag Team titles. Cesaro and Nakamura, who are the incumbent champions, versus the Lucha House Party, which could be Kalisto and or the Cat one and or Grand Metalik. Tiger Bomb Tom, your pick on this one.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? I wasn't paying attention.
Fucking fascist. Cesaro and Nakamura. Nakamura, the tag team champions,
Okay.
versus the Lucha House Party, which is Kalisto, Grand Metalik, and why can't I remember the one that wore the cat mask? Lince Dorado, the Golden Lynx.
Khajiit.
So and this I was gonna say this is for the titles. Absolutely Shinsuke and Cesaro.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know, I think that Cesaro and Nakamura are gonna win this because they've been teasing like a Kalisto or Lince Dorado heel turn. Like somebody's gonna turn on somebody else in this match. So, Nakamura and Cesaro retain. Poot.
Oh, Nakamura Cesaro. Bork.
Ransom.
Bork.
Across the board.
Across the board. Back to me. More tag team champions. There's so many tag teams. Actually, there aren't a lot of tag teams. But there's so many titles. Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza.
Is that an
anytime. What?
Sorry, nothing. Never mind.
Continue on.
Go
You're
on.
Good. We're entertaining
Idiots.
ourselves.
Street Profits. Poot.
I'm sorry. Street Profits versus who?
Andrade and Angel Garza.
Street Profits are the incumbents, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna stick with Street Profits on this one.
Ransom.
You two need to put your toys away and pay attention to what you're doing. Street Profits.
Sorry, Dad.
Uppercut.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, and this is gonna be the one where I vary, and I'm gonna say Angel Garza and Andrade.
Whatever.
Oh,
The part-time champ
whatever.
returns.
What a.
All right,
That's the
camera
fucking
done.
story. That's the fucking story of every NXT call up. Like a promising champion, what could be a great mid card talent to whatever his name is. Singles titles time. Jeff Hardy, the not so good Hardy, and the Intercontinental Champion, versus Sami Zayn versus AJ Styles. Ransom, hold on. No, it's Poot's pick. Sorry, Poot, what do you got?
Wait, it's my pick?
Who
Yep.
just picked first last time, didn't he? When he picked
Fuck.
Street Profits.
All right, then Ransom, it is your time.
Thank you, Tom.
No
I
problem.
don't know. I don't.
Uppercut.
Upper butt.
Oh man. Poop.
Tiger knee.
I think Jeff Hardy's going to retain, but just for shits and giggles, I'm going to call AJ Styles.
Tiger Bomb, Tom.
I'm going to go in a slightly different direction. I'm going to say Sammy.
I also am picking Sami Zayn on this one. Poop.
Fuck you.
I am gonna go with AJ Styles as well.
Oh my!
All right.
Nobody
So
believes in
none of
Jeff
us
Hardy.
are picking Jeff Hardy. Oh,
Well, because we all know it's just a ticking time bomb till his next relapse.
I
shit, who
honestly
knows? He
think
might
I-
even get pulled over for drunk driving before the match. So
Yeah, exactly. Pulling
Oh,
RVD.
God damn.
I honestly
Pulling
think
RVD.
it's more the fact that I think there's other things yet to be done with Jeff Hardy, because he had mentioned when he re-signed his contract that he wanted to have a run with Willow in WWE.
oh boy.
Great.
Look,
Oh, maybe
look, I know it wasn't popular, but like I went back and watched some of the stuff with Willow. I thought it was just goofy enough that it worked. That was just one man's opinion.
And I mean, you know, if they want to be put in other programs, I'm sure they can move him over to Raw and put him in the 24/7 title hunt. That's where he belongs.
Or Raw Underground. Oh,
Oh,
damn. Speaking of Raw Underground, hey, there's the Hurt Business.
Ugh.
Bobby, don't call me Robert Lashley, versus Apollo Crews for the United States Championship. Lashley is the incumbent. Tom, your choice.
big dumb babyface Lashley, and not babyface as in healer babyface, but he has the face of a baby.
Agreed.
Feed his face.
I am also
Feed
picking.
his face.
I am also picking no eyebrows on this one. Poot.
Wow.
Now, see,
Yes.
I understand the Hurt Business is on a run. They're going to be in a program with Retribution.
Yeah.
I don't.
If Retribution lasts that long.
Well, that's a whole nother can of worms.
It's over.
It's terrible. I'm actually going to go on a limb and say Apollo Crews, just so that everything's not samey.
Ransom.
So, refresh my memory here. Bobby Lashley beat Apollo Crews at Payback,
SummerSlam,
SummerSlam.
I believe.
Okay. Well,
Super Brawl Saturday?
WWE is definitely not beyond the point of hot potatoing titles.
Right.
So it wouldn't surprise me if it went back to Apollo Crews.
I mean, this isn't the hottest of potatoes. It's like a room temperature potato at this point.
Well,
Like-
there was only one event in between this and SummerSlam, and the event that was in between this and SummerSlam was a week after SummerSlam.
Now, you're
So
assuming
it's,
that they
it's
also
still
put,
pretty steaming.
you're also assuming that they put value into that belt.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a brand new belt, to be fair. Like, the actual
The
title belt
actual
itself
physical
is brand
belt
new,
is
so.
brand new, but the rest of it,
The prestige of it.
yeah.
Yeah. The lineage.
Yeah, it was a WCW title. I don't know. I think Fetus Face retains.
Another
The
vote
Poot.
for the Lash.
I'll
The
be
poop prophet
Alright.
over
I'm
there.
okay with that.
All right, main event time. Two of them. For the Universal title, Roman Reigns versus Jimmy Uso.
Jay. I don't know.
Jay?
One of his
I
cousins.
think it's Jey Uso.
Oops.
One of the Usos.
Goose.
My pick on this one, and I am going to pick Roman Reigns. No duh.
Do it. Pick you so. Do it.
Jay. It's Jey Uso.
Okay.
Poot.
Jey Uso. No, Roman Reigns. All day long. All day long. If they actually listen, if I'm wrong on this and they actually did put it on Jey Uso, number one, that would be interesting AF. It would. It would be like this like curveball out of nowhere that hits you in the nose and somehow breaks your knee. Like that's how out of the box it would be. It would be really interesting and oddball, but that's not the wheelhouse, especially when it comes to Roman Reigns. It's going to be Roman Reigns.
Ransom?
I don't know why we're even bothering to pick this. It's
He has a
Roman
point.
Reigns. I mean, that's my pick, Roman Reigns. But I couldn't.
Yeah, I
fathom.
hear you. Take it on, Tom.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's going to be Roman. Bonus little prop bet has nothing to do with the actual picks. What do you think the over-under is on The Fiend making his presence after the match?
Who?
The Fiend? Bray
Oh.
Wyatt?
Who?
I see what you did.
Fuck you. Come on.
Goldberg, yes.
I mean, I don't know, man. This is a weird fucking card. Keith Lee's not on it, despite
Oh, is he not in the
being
match?
such
Well,
a huge deal. Like, I don't.
so is Orton back in the match officially then? Is that what the wiki said?
Yeah, my
Well-
fucking head hurts. I didn't know he was ever out of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, probably not like realistically, but for storyline wise, yeah, because Orton was supposed to have been severely injured enough. Of course, he had to get rushed to a nearby medical facility.
As
And-
is
care.
tradition.
It's as per the usual. And then
Express.
if Keith Lee had won his match, he was supposed to get inserted into this title picture in place of Orton if Orton wasn't clear to compete, quote
Keith
unquote.
Lee
Clear to
hasn't
compete.
won a damn match since
I know.
Payback.
I know.
Nope.
I know. I'm just saying. That was what they were. Yeah.
Welcome to
His
the main
record
roster,
on
successful
Raw.
NXT talent.
His record on Raw is like 1-0/maybe 3-0/maybe 3, depending on whether you consider them draws or DQs. It's every fucking week with this guy.
Dude, that's the problem is that it even
It's not
came-
his fault.
It was reported that they came out. They have no idea what to do with Keith Lee. None.
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 Thank
Zero.
God they brought him
Why
up.
bring him up?
Yep. Well, because
Why
Black
not
Lives
leave him in
Matter.
NXT where he was flourishing?
Wow.
I
don't think it was-
100% believe it's a political
all right,
move.
we'll get back into
I do.
that. But let's speaking of that title picture, let's pick this last pick. It is the last
Under the
one, right?
part-timer
Yeah.
getting on the captain's bow of the ship.
Part of the
Somebody's
crew.
got to fucking do it.
McIntyre, the WWE champion, versus Randy Orton in an ambulance match. Pootski.
Okay.
Oh, McIntyre retains.
Ransom.
McIntyre. So, what happens? Hang on, I got an H2O. Ooh. Delicious. What happens to our picks if right before the match, or even at the beginning of the pay-per-view at some point, they announce that Keith Lee is in this match? As wild an assumption that might be.
Why don't we have that be a prop bet after the fact?
Wild card.
Okay. Tom.
I don't think I picked anybody.
Oh,
I
you
did pick
did.
McIntyre. No,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
you
sorry,
did. I
pick
read that.
McIntyre. sorry.
Tom, what do you think?
I'm just trying to think of the obvious choice. Once I want to say McIntyre, but something makes me want to go out on a limb and pick Orton for some reason. I don't know who they would have. I don't know who else they have on Raw that's like a good face that could go up against Orton though. So,
Exactly.
They
Well,
would
Keith
turn.
Lee, they could put him up against Orton and then have him lose.
They would turn Orton face because
You think-
face
Oh, no.
Orton is best Orton, right?
No.
I
Good old
guess
big
for
shoulder
now.
Orton.
Well, I've picked at least one different than have I? I don't know. We'll go back
Yeah,
to
you
the
have.
last call. I picked at least one different than you.
Yeah, you picked Andrade and Angel.
I did.
You
I'll
did.
go with McIntyre.
I am picking Orton. Like, this is my fucking lock of the night.
Really?
So, three things. One, they reportedly want to get McIntyre over in front of a crowd. They want to give him his moment in front of a crowd. Two, this lets Randy Orton win the match without pinning McIntyre. And three, there is a upcoming draft coming up. So even though there may not be a lot of face talent to face Orton now, that could all change within the next couple of weeks. So I am picking Randy Orton to win the WWE title, and I think that's my only title change. No, Sami Zayn winning too was my second one. Okay, so the prop bet is what?
To be fair, Sami never lost.
That's highly sus.
Yeah,
that's highly sus.
Very sus.
Highly sus.
So the prop bet is what? So what specifically would say is Keith Lee going to be added, or is Keith Lee going to be added instead of Orton?
How about this? We'll say Keith Lee is somehow involved in that match.
Well, involved as
an active
participant.
As an active participant.
Okay. I'm going to go no.
Or are we picking is this going to pick like if he's involved and we pick and there's a different winner we pick, or like?
No, I think it's just a question whether or not he's going to be in the match.
Yeah, and are we calling this for an actual point?
May as well. Why the hell not?
Yeah, let's call this for a point because,
reasons.
Who knows? But yeah. So whether or not he's going to be a participant, whether he replaces Orton or is added into a triple threat match, and he does a run-in,
I don't think he'll replace
that's a no count.
Orton. So you're saying it's as long as he is actively involved in an official manner.
Correct. Like Randy Orton, right? Mac versus Keith Lee, or Mac versus Keith Lee and Randy Orton.
I'm gonna go with no.
Ransom.
I'm also going to go with no, because why would they try to make a good decision?
LT Gray.
I'm also going to go with no.
Great, we might as well have not even made that.
Yeah.
Well, we could be wrong and there'd be no repercussion.
Well, what I was going to say is if they involve Keith Lee, like as of right now, it's the official. According to Wiki, is McIntyre versus Orton. So if they did end up making it a triple threat match, do we want to make a pick based off of that if it happens, like last minute, like in the 11th hour? You know what I mean? Do we want to do that or no?
I can safely say that my choice would not change.
Your choice would not change? Would anybody else's choice change?
Okay, so first of all, let's just be real here. They can't do it. They can't do a triple threat ambulance match. It cannot happen.
Oh yeah, because you'd have to stuff two people in an ambulance.
Right.
Then.
No. You'd have to have two separate ambulances.
Yeah, you just have to put one person, and the first one to put a person in the ambulance wins. Just like the
silly.
first.
That could be.
It's silly.
I mean,
it's WWE. What do you expect?
Look,
it could happen.
Look,
Yeah.
Tom's not wrong. Well,
Thank
listen,
you.
Beef's not wrong. It is silly, but also Tom's not wrong. WWE could do something goofy like that, and who knows? They could even do something goofy enough as to where two people toss the same guy in at the same time, and it winds up, a draw between Orton and Keith Lee. So the title's somehow off McIntyre, but now these two are feuding for either the co-title or the vacated title. Who knows?
Or maybe they split
it's
the
outside
title
the
down
box,
the middle, like Lake Cole did, and they each hold half of it.
Oh, God, no.
I mean, that's super unlikely, but like Beef said, Lake Cool, it happened.
Well, okay, in any sort of triple threat match or a fatal four-way match, it's the first person, unless it's a fatal four-way elimination bullshit. But your traditional triple threat or fatal four-way, it's the first person to score a pinfall or a submission. So if they did do a triple threat ambulance match, it would just be the first person to throw somebody in. It doesn't matter which one of the other two. Somebody to throw one in the back of the ambulance, they're the winner. Well,
but for the most part, WWE tends to avoid like the gimmick matches where there could be some weird fucking shit, like an Iron Man match or like a Buried Alive match, where
that'd be the sudden death to the tie in an ambulance match. You actually have to kill someone.
Okay.
Oh, okay. The horror show.
All right, so running picks real quick. Asuka versus Vega. We all want Asuka. Bailey versus Cross. We all want Bailey. Shayna and Nia versus Riot Squad. We all want Shayna and Nia. Cesaro versus Nakamura. We all want Cesaro Nakamura. Street Profits versus Angel and Andrade. We all want Street Profits except for Tom. He went Angel Andrade. IC title. We all Tom and I went Zayn. Poot and Ransom went Styles. Lashley Cruz. Poot went Cruz. The rest Lashley. Reigns versus whoever. Reigns wins. Orton McIntyre. 3 on Mac and then me on Orton. And we all believe that Keith Lee will not be an official entrant into the main event. This is your last call, gentlemen.
Anyone?
I don't want to make any changes, but I could say this. If Keith Lee is involved in this match at all, I don't think he's going to be in his official capacity, but I could see him being in the back of the ambulance, and when they open up the doors, he comes out, pummels both of them, and Keith Lee's his way away from the camera, and then the 2 participants are left to pick up the pieces. But no, I don't want to change any of my picks.
Ransom's locked in. Beef's locked in. Poot. Tiger.
Tom, you go ahead.
Of course.
You go first.
I'm good.
Tom's locked in. Poot the Bard. Any last minute changes?
I kind of want to. I'm really thinking of changing that tag match to Andrade and Angel Garza. I'm going to stand my ground on that. I'm good.
We are locked in, gents.
And I'll tell you
See you
this
next week.
Now that Beef mentioned it about the upcoming draft, now it seems more likely to me you could see the Street Profits move over to SmackDown. So
I think Angel Garza and Andrade would probably go before that.
I'm so unhappy that everybody's forgetting Andrade's name. He was
Andrade Sienna Almas, and he was also before that he was La Sombra.
The fucking I'm not testing your knowledge, Poot. I'm just saying, like, it makes me sad that we've come to this.
I mean, what can you say?
This is the reality.
When you get decent NXT talent that gets called up to Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown and gets shuffled around in mid-card obscurity, what do you expect?
Like, and that's the thing is, like, Andrade, and the problem is, if WWE valued tag talent, if they actually valued tag talent, like if Vince saw tag team wrestling as a valuable asset, then Andrade and Angel Garza would be amazing.
Oh yeah,
they would
definitely.
be. They would.
Yeah.
Remember a few years ago when Triple H was fixing the tag team division before he was fixing the women's division before he was focused on NXT? Like, it was good tag team wrestling. And then he was like, all right, let's focus on the women's division. And then tag team wrestling went down the shitter.
Well, it's because it was basically he stopped paying attention to it.
Yep. And it wilted and died.
And died because McMahon got his filthy, grubby hands back on it.
One man can only do so much.
Fucker.
Hey, can I ask a question here?
Yes.
What? Why?
Yes. We all feel.
When did Retribution turn into just the Bane stable?
Oh God! Like, I don't
understand. They didn't wear those Bane masks under the ski masks, so they lost the ski masks. Now they're full-blown Batman villains.
So
but
I have
everybody
a lot.
knows who they are.
Okay,
I have a lot less problem with the masks.
Let's all talk over each other at once because that's successful.
And now nobody's talking.
We shut up, Dad.
Well,
Go ahead.
Let's figure it out.
So I have no problem with the masks because I kind of dig the post-apocalyptic Mad Max vibe. All right, like, you're right. But I think that WWE was walking a fine line with them being compared a lot to Antifa.
By you.
And not just me, man. Like, that shit was out there. And with the political climate being what it is, and being that Vince is good buddies with El Presidente, I'm sure that was probably something that they wanted to kind of avoid. So I don't mind the Mad Max vibes at all. I think that's kind of cool, in like a Road Warrior way.
I'll tell you the one thing that I actually don't like about it is the fact that they announced it at the beginning of the show. First of all, like, they opened up the show like that. It was meh, whatever. Like, and they announced, like, well, now they've been officially signed to contracts. Well, why the fuck would you have a stable that's hell-bent on destroying WWE? Why would you announce them as being, quote-unquote, officially signed to contracts? Like, I know kayfabe's dead, but give me some sort of fucking suspension of disbelief. A little bit. Like, give me a sliver. Just an appetizer of it. Like, make me fucking...
Nexus.
Yeah, exactly. Yo. Like, we know, obviously, they're in the WWE. They're there. We get it. We know they're a part of the show. You don't have to announce.
They have music. They have Titantron things.
We know. We've been told they've officially signed contracts now. So now they can come and do this whenever they please. Well, couldn't they do that before? You fucktards?
No, my big problem is the fact that they put the masks aren't the issue. It's the idea that the people on the main roster making the calls, Vince McMahon, the issue that I have is that they think we don't know who the fuck these people are.
Right.
Like, especially like Dijakovic and Mia Yim.
I do have a question.
Sake. Like, it bothers me so much because it's almost like it basically, to me, it's a backhanded, you were nothing until you got here. And now no one knows who you are. No one knows who you were. Even when you were in NXT, no one cared about you. No one knew about you. Now you're T-Bar and Slap
That's
Nuts.
The fucking problem.
And
there's
the
that.
fucking names.
The fucking names.
Slap
T-Bar.
Jack.
I wonder if Vince goes on Urban Dictionary before he makes these names up. Because if he would have known that T-Bar and Slapjack are two very innuendo things that he probably wouldn't have supported.
What are they, Beef? Lay it out for us.
So T-Bar is like whenever somebody's wearing like a thong, and that's what that does to your butt. It makes it a T-bar. The slapjack, I believe, is something involving a blowjob and then like slapping, whoever the recipient of the jizz. I believe is what a slapjack is.
I have a question.
Well, that was also Stevie Ray's finisher.
It was. I have a question. Okay, so we all know pretty much who they all are. Except the one person I didn't recognize. Who was the one that was in like the full blown like wannabe Jason mask?
Wasn't that Shane Thorne?
That one is Shane Thorne.
Is it?
Yeah, because the one with the dreads is Dio Madden.
Obviously,
and then
yeah.
the other guy is Dijakovic.
The only one who sold it well was Dio Madden.
Yeah.
He was the only one I was like, okay, this guy, I get it. But the rest of them, it was like they knew. And also, Dijakovic's voice.
Career suicide.
Dijakovic's voice, why?
I don't know.
Why?
Quick question on the other chick besides Mia Yim. Is that who the fuck is that? I'm blanking on the name now. Help me.
Chelsea I'm not sure Green? Either. It's not Chelsea Green.
No, it's definitely not Chelsea Green. Is it Mercedes? Is it Mercedes Martinez?
That's it, Mercedes Martinez. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
I'm watching now to go back and see if I can kind of peg out Shane Thorne, because if I would be able to see.
You want to peg Shane Thorne?
No. Listen, don't project.
Uppercut.
Dude. Don't project.
Listen, man, it's been almost exactly a year. I'm gonna project all I want. Anyway, the
giggity.
No giggity. The other thing is too, there was reports backstage that not only did the WWE universe, us the fans, go, what are you doing? Apparently backstage from talent and upper management and everything alike, while they were cutting their promo, while they were out there backstage, people were literally laughing.
Yep.
Literally guffawing at what's happening.
Wow.
All
That's
right.
sad.
So
Fuck.
that leads me to this question. Do you think, in your professional podcast opinions, do you think that because the reaction was so, what the hell is happening here? Do you think it's more likely that they pull the plug a la NWO, a la WWE NWO, pull the plug altogether? Or do you think they say, okay, the masks are crazy, this is goofy, let's just have them be a stable where they just look like wrestlers, they're in a stable, no masks, no hokey pokey nonsense, they can still run in and cause panic and chaos, but they just look like a normal wrestling stable? What do you think is the most likely scenario to happen? Or do you think, because it's Vince McMahon, they stay the course no matter what?
I say they probably ride this out until Survivor Series, and then they'll disappear like a fart in the wind.
Just gone. Pull the plug, and they're gone. Maybe send back to NXT, maybe repackaged to singles, but the stable itself is just out of here.
Yeah, I think so.
I think another option that might happen if they're reasonable is slowly phase out all the goofy, dumb bullshit and have them call themselves out. Remember how, like, after the Revival left, there was that whole thing about them and the like weird colored clothes and the lipstick and the giant clock that said Shatter Machine and stuff. You remember that? So
yep.
The impetus of that gimmick was that they were going to come out in it and do their match, win, and then cut a promo afterwards saying, this is what you wanted, right? This is what you people said you wanted. You wanted this, you wanted that, you wanted this. And then they were going to throw it off and just be the Revival. And it was going to give them a kick that it's like, this is what we had to do to get over. Fuck you. You know, it was supposed to be that kind of idea. They could easily flip this Retribution thing, the masks, the goofy voice that Dijakovic did, the whole thing, and have them break kayfabe and just be like, fuck this is a stupid gimmick. We are who we are, and we're going to go out there and we're going to show you what we do. And they're still called Retribution, but they come out as normal wrestlers, and they just do the job, walk away. You know what I mean? That's a way to do it. Is it going to happen? Probably not, but
probably not.
It's another route.
I think.
Yeah, what's your take, Beef?
I think that they did the Retribution thing the way that they did because we are less than a year removed from an NXT invasion on the main shows, and had they just been Dijakovic, Mia Yim, Dio Madden, Mercedes Martinez, and Shane Thorne, I think it would have had a lot of those same strong overtones, except for we would have harkened back to the Alliance days where where are the good people? Where are your Hogans? Where are your Stings? Where are your Goldbergs? Like, we would have been like, hey, where's fucking Adam Cole? Where's Keith Lee? Like, why aren't they a part of this? So I get why they did it that way. I would love to see them evolve into no longer wearing the goofy masks, no longer wearing the goofy shit, like being wrestlers, but just being, a group of like anti-establishment wrestlers. Okay, that's fine. But they will never get out of the shadow of those names, man. Like, I cannot stress enough. In a business where people got over with the names of, God rest their soul, Hawk, Animal, Axe, Smash, and Crush, you're going to have a name like Slapjack, T-Bar, and Mace. It just doesn't work for me, bro. Not in 2020. So unless they say...
I'm sorry.
I was just going to finish up saying, unless they say, you know what? I'm not T-Bar. My name is Dijak, and I'm here to fuck shit up. My name is Dio Madden, and I'm here to show you what I can really, unless they do something like that, they're never going to wear this out, and this will be their death knell in WWE, at least on the main roster.
Now, here's another thing that's, hold on.
I love your water noises. Oh.
Ooh, that's refreshing. Here's another thing that's way out of the box.
Hydration.
Right? H2O does the body good. I don't think that a lot of people would be happy to see this because things that were great at one time and are now dead and gone, it's best to stay that way. I think that's most people's feelings. When you look at the WCW version of the NWO, probably should have stayed there. Probably shouldn't have came to WWE. Nation of Domination, they're the hurt business. They didn't rehash the Nation. DX seems to be the only thing that continues to come back. But it's the old guys that come back. They don't add new people to it. That being said, I'm not sure if any of you guys heard or read about it, but WWE has re-signed Wade Barrett. Now, publicly, they re-signed him as I don't know if it's a commentator or it's a commentating type thing. So whether he's going to be on like the Fox show or he's going to commentate NXT or something, they've re-signed him, and he has said, it's not for an in-ring contract, it's for something else. But if they're trying to keep things close to the vest, would you be pleased to see somehow Wade Barrett come back and say to these guys, I get what you're doing. I understand the point you're trying to make, but you're going about it all wrong. I did this once, and it was successful. The Nexus came in, and we wrecked house. We wrecked down Daniel Bryan. We wrecked John Cena. We destroyed everything. Choked out Justin Roberts and got Daniel Bryan fired. I did it once, and I did it great. Would you be pleased if Wade Barrett comes back in an in-ring capacity and reforms the Nexus with these guys? Or do you just want to say, nope, Nexus happened, it was great. Well, at least in my opinion, it was great. But it's dead and gone, leave it in the past.
So I'm going to kind of... So I'll answer your question. I would love to see Stu Bennett get back in the ring and have some sort of anything going on. Wade Barrett, Bad News Barrett, I don't care. That'd be awesome. But my thought was, how long until we see these guys get a superstar mouthpiece or inject some superstar blood into them? Because as much as I love Dijakovic, because nothing against him or the way that they are, but because of how they've been presented in the last week, in the last 7 days, where they basically had their nuts chopped off. I think that you're going to need an extra little oomph. So I think Wade Barrett would be a very venerable option. I think another guy who makes a lot of fucking sense would be Roman Reigns. Again, not saying, just saying.
Now, do you think it would be best if it was a previous main roster talent or, in Roman Reigns' case, current main roster talent? Or do you think it would be good, interesting, something to have it be still an NXT star, but a bigger deal than these guys, like a Roderick Strong or an Adam Cole?
Keep Adam Cole the hell away from this. No, my God, no. My God, no. If Adam Cole got involved in Retribution, I think that the internet would just catch on fire and leave.
You're not wrong.
The entire internet would just leave. It'd be like, all right, we're done.
Spontaneously combust and be like, all right, 2020's been a fucking terrible year. We'll see you jerk-offs later. I'm out. See you in 2021, bitches.
Alex Jones comes out and goes, I was right. It's the Illuminati.
The frogs, man. The frogs.
Turn the frogs gay. Yeah, all right. So you would think that it would be a previously existing superstar mouthpiece, not an NXT come-up mouthpiece.
In order for them to put them over, yes. But Survivor Series is coming up. So Survivor Series is coming up. So this could 100% just have been a big fucking pawn So, like Poot said, it could be Survivor Series comes. Hey, Retribution's here. Survivor Series goes. Hey, where's Retribution? Or better yet, crickets. Nobody even notices. So that could well be what the plan was. I hope not, but that could well be what the plan was. But if they want this to be a solid group going forward, because of them getting their nuts chopped off on Monday night, they need something. Now,
Who would be the
Tom.
mouthpiece if they didn't get an outsider to come in? If it was strictly this group, who would be the standout mouthpiece, the leader,
Probably
to come out and always talk and lead the group?
I would say either Mia Yim or Dijakovic.
Pretty much.
Mia Yim did a good job on Raw. Mia Yim held her own on Raw.
She did. She held her own, but
You weren't impressed with that, Poot? I didn't watch, so I don't know what she said. I'm asking out of
it
curiosity.
was just
Like
you could tell she wasn't into it.
Formulaic.
Okay.
What do you think, Tom?
I would say either Dijakovic or Mia Yim, but it'd be kind of. It's kind of ironic that it's not Dio Madden, being that he was on the commentary position. I don't know.
And what's that about? Like, wouldn't fucking Phillips or Saxton or somebody stand up and go, "That's Dio Madden. I sat next to him on commentary for like 9 months."
Yeah,
You would think.
You would think. But
I'm
no.
so pissed off.
I mean, that would make sense in the storyline of these guys are invading. We don't know who they are.
Welcome to WWE.
Call one of them out.
Welcome to WWE, where Vince McMahon insults your intelligence on a weekly basis.
Well, that's a very good point.
Yep.
What a disappointment.
Who could you see as a mouthpiece on this? Like, who?
What?
If you had your druthers, who would inject this terrible fart with some extra fuel?
Oh my!
Honestly, in reality, if we're fantasy booking, it's a whole different thing. But since we're just talking about the possibility, okay, the real possibility, I like Wade Barrett as an option. I do.
Oh.
Because whenever he made the statement and he came out and he said, "Yes, I've been signed to WWE for a contract for, commentary, blah, blah, blah." He said at the end, he was like, "But there's still a little bad news I have tucked up my sleeve."
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, in reality, I think right now, I think that Wade Barrett would be a really, really good option as a veteran and as someone who is able to cut a really strong promo. Fantasy booking, in a perfect world, if Retribution was not the hot mess it was, absolute fantasy booking, CM Punk.
Oh, that's good.
I'm going to concur with you on both points.
Now, in any form of long shot reality, if they pitch this to CM Punk, do you think CM Punk would look at it and go, "Oh, God, no"?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken,
there's a possibility I could work with it.
He's already shit all over it.
I was going to say he shit all over it already.
Yep.
He absolutely.
reveal.
Oh, absolutely. A matter of fact, if you guys want to give me a second, I'll pull up the actual quote. All right, that's fine. Cookies, whatever. He said, "Where is CM Punk's?"
That would be one of the biggest gripes.
Analyzing. Blah, blah, blah.
Was Poot even hearing you, Tom?
No, I can hear him. I'm reading. I'm not, when it comes to like reading, talking, and writing at the same time, I'm not a good multitasker. CM Punk said, "When you're bored in catering and there's an abundance of paper plates." He said that about Shane Thorne's mask. And then T-Bar T-Bar,
who's T-Bar?
which is
Dijakovic.
Dijakovic. No, I thought Dijakovic was Slapjack.
No, Slapjack's the Madden, I think.
Oh, that's
When did they announce these names for them?
Raw during the match.
Yeah.
When
Anyway,
you have a name like Dijakovic, why would you take an awesome name like that and change it to something goofy like T-Bar or Bonesaw or
they
something?
They neutered his name.
Bonesaw is ready.
They
Yes.
I thought they neutered his name. It was Dominic Dijak.
Yeah, he was just Dijak on the
he was
Indies.
just Dominic Dijak on the Indies, and I was like, dude, that's awesome. And then they made him Dijakovic, and I was like, why?
Either name is
Dijakovic.
better than T-Bone.
Right.
Well, anyway, but so Punk said.
Well, so I think honestly, I think it goes back to the '80s where you had guys like Hawk, Animal, Axe, Smash, and Crush.
And that's all well and good. That's all well and good, but it doesn't, like you said earlier, Beef. It doesn't work in this day and age. Like I
Sure
said,
doesn't.
reminding folks, Punk said, when you're boarding catering and there's an abundance of paper plates. T-Bar then on Twitter, because, Retribution, you use Twitter, right? Said to CM Punk, "You mock my brother Slapjack," which, by the way, Slapjack is not Dio
Thorne,
Madden.
apparently.
Is Shane
Okay.
Thorne. "You mock my brother Slapjack because you are a coward like every current and former WWE superstar. You tease leading Retribution, but we will not follow you to failure like your new Nexus. We will destroy this place piece by piece, including you if you ever show up."
That could be a great throw-off, a great tease.
Yeah, but I honestly think if Punk came back, he would not come to WWE. I don't.
Not a chance. I honestly think he'd go to Japan.
I think he'd go to AEW.
I do too. I'm with you there on that.
And here's the biggest reason why. It's because of the lack of having bullshit scripts thrown at your face. Like he would want to be catered to for him to be able to exercise his craft and exercise his ego or whatever.
Creativity.
Like and exercise his creativity. Now obviously, even if he wasn't getting pushed to the moon or something like that, I think he's that type of person that as long as he's getting to express himself creatively, I think he would be okay with that. Like, it's just as long as, because I think he's done it before where he said here, like whenever he was talking to them, I can't remember if it was whenever he had a short reign with the big gold belt or whatever. But he went and talked to whoever, and he had all these ideas, and he was like, "Here's the next how many ever weeks of TV for you right here." And they just kind of were like, "Okay, yeah, we'll look at it," and kind of sloughed it off. Where I think if he went to AEW and he presented that to Tony Khan and the Bucks and everybody, and he said, "I've got the next fucking 26 weeks a fucking TV for you here. Here's my ideas." They'd probably be like, "Fuck yeah, bring it on. Let's see what you got," because they want that. Who knows the character better than the person themselves playing that character, instead of having a fucking script shoved in your face and say, "Remember this." So
that's true.
I will say one thing, one bright spot, not on Monday Night Raw. I really dig what they're doing with Alexa Bliss and the whole Fiend thing. And I know it's a little schlocky, just the way that it comes off when she starts walking away in a trance, but I like the idea of it. I like the idea of the Fiend kind of being this permeating force that, isn't exclusive to Bray Wyatt. It's this ever pervasive evil entity. I like it.
So I do have a question on that. Is that, I think we talked about it either at the last show or the show before.
We touched on it.
She's not supposed to be the character of Sister Abigail. Is she supposed to be Bray Wyatt isn't necessarily exclusively the Fiend. The Fiend can be Alexa Bliss.
I think that would be a really cool idea.
Yeah,
I think it would be cool to see if that's where they go with it. As of right now, it's just been a whole lot of like, I don't know what's happening to me. Like, like, you know, she was like, she even, okay, so there was a
confusion before acceptance.
What's that?
Confusion before acceptance.
Yes, yeah. So like she had Nikki Cross on a Moment of Bliss segment, and you know, she was talking to Cross about like, you know, she's like, I'm gonna ask the tough questions, like what makes you think that you can, you know, beat Bayley, because you faced her like almost all summer long and you haven't been able to do it. You know, no disrespect, but you know, what makes it different this time? And then Nikki Cross turns around and asks her, like, you know, she's like, what's been going on with you lately? And she's like, honestly, I don't know. I can't even explain it. I'm not sure myself what's going on. So it's, you know, it'll be interesting to see where they go with it. But either way, I'm all for a spooky hoochie mama. I dig it. I still would.
Now,
Spooky
is that kind of a
hoochie mama.
rip-off of what Matt Hardy does, like with his entity or whatever? That
Well, they haven't.
different.
I don't think so.
No, they haven't had her. They haven't really changed. They haven't had her change her look or her persona. The only thing that she's done different is, yet. But the only thing that they've had her done different is, she was on commentary, and like they mentioned, like somebody on commentary mentioned the Fiend, and then that was the trigger, and like she like kind of went into this trance like state, and she'll do the Sister Abigail on somebody and then just kind of walk away in a trance. And that's really like the biggest difference. But like just her appearance and everything like that, they haven't had her like change her look up or anything. So we'll see if they do or not, or, you know, if they have her coming out in a Fiend mask. I mean, who the fuck knows? But I'm interested at the idea of it at the very least. I like it.
Dude, SmackDown is the place to be right now in WWE if you're not in NXT. Like every week, I swear I read the results and I'm like, you know what? I think I can invest 2 hours of my time and actually watch this, because it doesn't seem like a bad show. I think that there are some problems because, you know, it's Vince McMahon. But
Yeah.
I mean, on the whole, like, yeah, I'm not happy with the Fiend getting brushed aside. But at the same time, I'm really digging what Roman Reigns is bringing with the heel heat. You know,
It was cool to watch the end of the match with him and Jay. They had their tag match. So like, I don't know if anybody has watched any of the previous weeks or not, but like, so they had a tag match last week, I think it was. And Jay came out first, and I think they were against Sheamus and Corbin. And Sheamus and Corbin basically came up and started attacking Jay. Roman was nowhere to be found, and so it was essentially like almost like a tag team, you know, handicap match. And then like when it was getting down to the nitty gritty, then Roman came out at the very end, and off a distraction, Jay was able to mount a little bit of offense, and he was getting ready to do like he ended up doing like the big Uso splash. But like when he went up, like Roman came up to the corner and like tagged himself in. So he literally showed up, you know, speared, won. That was it. He really like, you know, phoned it in. And then so this week, they actually were both down there. You know, Roman came down first or whatever. He was there the whole match. At the very end, I forget who it was that he speared, if it was Corbin or Sheamus. But either way, he speared one of them. And then out of nowhere, you see fucking Jay come with the big splash, literally almost like dove right on top of Roman and picks up the pin or whatever. And it was kind of one of those like, okay, you kind of one up me last week. Now I got you this week, fam. You know, and fucking they hug it out a little bit at the end, and they're, you know, Roman's smiling with him a little bit, and then Jay's like walking up the ramp all like, yeah, oos, yeah, whatever, and fucking then you just kind of see the smile fade from Roman's face, just kind of like, this motherfucker, like he don't even know. So I dig it. I dig what the you know, what they're slowly doing there with that. But I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame that we all know, like, the inevitable, like, you know, fucking Roman's gonna win. So,
which is, again, I have no problem with the heel Roman reign. Face Roman was a problem.
Yeah.
Heel Roman, I think we're getting what we want. So let's fucking enjoy it and not gripe about it.
Right.
Speaking of griping about something, NXT Takeover, like let's throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks is next weekend. I'm not happy about that card. I think it looks not so great. Well, okay, so let me retract. I think we'll see some good matches, but I think that they're illogical. They don't make a lot of sense, and I don't know. It kind of bugs me, and I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts. So far on the card, we have Candice LeRae, who won the Battle Royal last night for reasons, and Io Shirai for the women's title. We have the North American title for the Damian Priest versus Gargano, and Finn Balor versus the winner of the Gauntlet, whatever it was last night, Kyle O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh,
I
what?
love Kyle O'Reilly, but that
I don't understand, and like apparently they're doing this like weird fucking like deadly draw thing for the tag team titles where they teamed up 4 individuals
and whatever
with like
from different teams. So it was like
right.
It was one person from what was it? Fabian Eichner from
It was Eichner and one of the not DJZ, the other one from the
El Phantasmo thingy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was them versus
Gato de Fantasma. The
it was
Fantastic Cat.
the other team was Roderick Strong and Danny Burch.
Yep.
And so they won. So now they'll face each other.
Right.
For an opportunity at Breezango,
Right.
or okay.
Why do you? Yeah. So basically, it's basically a play-in for the tag team title match at 31.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's,
Why?
it's interesting.
But why do you break up Red Dragon?
I
Like,
can tell
why
you
not have Roddy Strong be the one in the Battle Royal and have him get the shot against Finn Balor, or and have him get the shot?
Well, I
Go
can
ahead.
tell you why, because where was Bobby Fish? I don't know if something was going on with him at home or whatever,
Fish
but
hurt
Bobby Fish,
again?
he might be. Yeah, I don't know.
Dude,
Fish wasn't there.
I was gonna say Bobby Fish is what 44.
He's no spring chicken.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
he's up there.
It sucks.
Yeah.
That would make sense because you're right. When O'Reilly won the Gauntlet last night, Fitch was not out there celebrating. So
Correct.
that's But in that same voice though, like Danny Burch and Roddy Strong won. So unless the tag team that they're facing next week is Roddy Strong and Adam Cole, which would be
Might be.
weird.
Could be.
I don't know. It's just like, I don't know. Like NXT has been on this thing of like, hey, let's push the new people and let's get the next generation kicked off, and that's kind of been in full swing.
But here's the thing with that. You also so on one instance, things are kind of in a state of flux as it is, because you had fucking grubby old McMahon calling up Keith Lee when they didn't have a plan for him. So there's one gone. Okay. Then it's like, all right, well, Keith Lee's going to go up. We're going to put our eggs in we're going to put all our eggs in the carrying cross basket. And then he gets injured. So now what? So now you got 2 fucking monkey wrenches thrown into the gears, and then who knows what the hell was going on with Bobby Fish, why he wasn't there this week. So, I think it's just one of those things that this might have been the case of, all right, hey, we got to do the best we can. We got to think on our toes and let's do something. So
Right. But I mean, you had guys like, the thick boy in there. Why do I always forget his name?
Bronson Reed.
Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes,
Yeah.
Kushida. Like, I think that any of those guys made. Timothy Thatcher.
yeah,
I think that any of those guys made a better choice. Again, no slight to O'Reilly. I'm sure that we're going to get a great match between O'Reilly and Balor.
It just we're gonna get a fantastic match between those two.
Right.
That's gonna be a fucking that's gonna be like a 5-star match right there. But
I don't understand. He's a tag team wrestler
Here's
why circumvent all those other guys that you could be putting at the doorstep?
Well, I think it's because we don't know exactly how long Karrion Kross is going to be out, number one. So, number two, all those matches that you mentioned are all good potential future feuds. But I think there's something to be said with, we kind of alluded to it either on the last podcast or the one before, where we were talking about like how the Undisputed Era is kind of, muddling around in their own things and kind of going their own way sort of thing. So I think this is a way for them to kind of start that little bit of a division. You know what I mean? Whether it's separating Adam Cole for the rest of them, or Kyle O'Reilly from the rest, or whatever, or I don't know, but I think there's something to be said for some sort of separation storyline there.
Well, and I don't even know if it's going to be. Sorry, Beef. I didn't mean to step on your toes.
You're good.
I think maybe it's because, and it's an unfortunate side effect. I mentioned it earlier. Bobby Fish is getting up there, and they never really pulled the trigger on Red Dragon, which makes me sad because they are a fantastic tag team. It's more the fact that they're seeing, Kyle O'Reilly. He has the attitude. He has the charisma. He has more than enough of the in-ring skill to be a singles star. But the problem is I don't see Kyle O'Reilly as an NXT champion. I see him as a North American champion.
I agree with that.
That's what I'm saying.
That's no slight to him. The thing is, if you want to get him to that point where he can be a quote-unquote main event player, you got to slowly build a guy like Kyle O'Reilly. You can't just throw him at the top. However, this could also go with the build, the slow burn build of Kyle O'Reilly shoots for the stars, misses, falls back down the card, and while Bobby Fish is out, or if Bobby Fish does his own thing, or they let him go, I don't know. They have him slowly build back up to the point where he actually is a contender.
I feel like it's one of those things where like it's going to be those, okay, Kyle O'Reilly is the unexpected underdog. He's going to put on a fantastic show, and in the midst of the match, like we know, I'll say that the collective we, as the quote unquote smart marks, like we know that Finn Balor is going to be your champ pretty much until Karrion Kross gets back. But there's going to be that little bit, I think they're going to give us that little bit of a, oh shit, Kyle O'Reilly might do it sort of moment. And it's going to be one of those like, all right, you know what? Like we didn't expect that out of you. And while you may not have won the big title, we see how much potential you have sort of thing. And we're going to kind of insert you in the North American Championship picture. I think that's kind of more, I think that's kind of like where we could see Kyle O'Reilly going to there.
And I mean, on top of that, the other one that really stands out again. I understand Gargano and Damian Priest, and wouldn't shock me to see Gargano actually beat Priest. But Candice LeRae versus Io Shirai, we've talked several times about how like now is the time to put Rhea Ripley back on top. Now is the time. Now is the time. Now is the time. That was the time. There it goes. Oh, it's gone. Why? Why not just like it's a foregone conclusion. Why not just do it?
I think it's one of those cases where Rhea Ripley is so good, like she doesn't necessarily need the belt. I mean, it's one of those things like if Candice LeRae were to win, the belt would help make Candice LeRae. But in the case of Rhea Ripley, like Rhea Ripley makes the belt because she's such a badass and a formidable character. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe with NXT UK kind of coming back around and opening things back up and getting back on the network and stuff, maybe they're going to have her transition back over there. Who knows?
I want to I want to disagree a little bit with that. I don't.
I'm joking.
Well,
I'm joking.
I guess I mean, it's in general, and it's nothing to do with your opinion. It's just I don't really. I've never seen the point behind. Well, they're too good for the belt. You know, you're talking about like the NXT Women's Champion. You're not talking about a NXT Women's European Champion or Women's Intercontinental Champion. You're talking about the Women's Championship. Ooh. To say that, you know, like that person's so good they don't need the belt, I kind of see, you know, classic guys who were great, and, you know, I hope, you know, Beef is holding on to something here because he might get a little wobbly in the legs. That's kind of like saying, well, Bret Hart's so good in the ring, he doesn't need that belt. Or, you know, Shawn Michaels is so great, he doesn't need the belt. Like, look at everything that Stone Cold is doing. You know, look at his King of the Ring victory. You know, he's on fire. He really doesn't need the belt.
I get what you're saying.
You know, like I think if you're that good, that, you know, the belt and the talent elevate each other.
Let me rephrase
it's just like, that person is so damn good. They've got that belt. Who the hell is going to get it off of them? They're so good.
Let me rephrase that then. Rhea had a pretty good run because she was the one to take it off of Shayna and everything. So maybe it's just one of those things, like maybe it's not, she doesn't need the belt, but maybe it's like, okay, like she doesn't necessarily need it right now, but we know we can give it to her as soon as we want to, and it's going to be like instant success no matter what. Like they can put it on her at any time that they so choose, and they know that they've got money there. So, and I think with or without the belt, they know they have money with her. Maybe it's just one of those things. They're like, all right, well, you know, let's see what other viable options we have, just besides putting the entire women's division solely on her shoulders. Maybe is that?
No, see that still reminds me of like saying, okay, well, you know, you could put it on Bret Hart at any time, but let's put it on Shawn Michaels, or, you know, like I know he didn't win the title at the time, but like, well, let's put it on Triple H and see what happens. But we could put it on Bret at any time.
So, quick question:
you do that, wouldn't you put that on your guy, girl?
So, quick question: what do you guys think? Has the women's division been better? Was it better whenever Rhea was champion, or was it better whenever Io's been champion?
I think it's been better whenever Rhea was champion.
I'd agree,
honestly,
100%.
Because everything just felt more competitive. No offense, I love Io Shirai, and if I could quote Ransom, she's so pretty.
So pretty.
No, I love Io Shirai. I love the packaging that they're doing with her right now. The Lost in the Sky thing, like, I love it. But Io Shirai versus Rhea Ripley feels like a force. Like Io Shirai feels like a formidable champion and someone who deserves respect. Rhea Ripley feels like a force of nature. Like, it feels like every match that she's involved in is a big deal because of what she is and who she is. And I think that's the difference, is that having someone like that who projects an aura of power and formidability like her, she brings out the best in any opponent that's thrown at her. And anyone who actually gives her a run for her money feels like a bigger deal. It's a cyclical building of strength of talent. With Io Shirai, it feels like, oh, she's the champion. Okay, this person's not going to beat her. It's not going to beat her. The first time that she has a big, formidable champion, she's going to lose it.
I have a question. I have two things. I have kind of two hot takes. One hot take and one question. My first hot take is I would have honestly rather seen Mia Yim become women's champion than Io Shirai at whatever point. That's just a hot take for me. I always liked Mia Yim's character a little bit better, and her attitude and everything like that. I thought she was long overdue for a women's championship and never got it. Never got what she deserved. That's hot take number one. Number two, not that I'm really complaining, but just more inquiring. Where the hell has Charlotte Flair been?
hurt.
Is she okay?
Yeah, what was it? A
Injecting
shoulder injury?
more plastic into her body to become, more of a Barbie doll.
Got
I
it.
don't exactly remember what the injury was, but it was reported that she would be out until Royal Rumble 2021.
So is that?
Got too hot and started to melt.
I was gonna say. So is that basically why? Do you think that's the only reason why Io got the belt?
No, because Charlotte dropped it to her, and then Charlotte got hurt afterward.
Was
So,
it okay?
I don't think Charlotte in NXT. Yeah, I don't think that Charlotte was ever a long-term plan in NXT. Charlotte was a, hey, let's see if we can boost our rating against AEW. And over the course of the last year, I think that they found that they really can't compete with AEW unless AEW really puts on a shitty show and they go above and beyond.
Yeah, that was okay. That's why I was confused because when Charlotte got injured and dropped, or whenever she dropped it to EO, or whenever or whatever, I hadn't been watching, so I didn't know exactly what the hell happened to Charlotte. But you mentioned AEW. That's a pretty good segue. Fucking Eddie Kingston, man. Wow. Even though he's stealing Ransom's gimmick.
Before we talk about Eddie Kingston as much as I want to, I think we need to talk about the real fucking elephant in the room, and that is quote unquote sloppy shop. So Lance Archer missed last night's AEW because he was at home. He said that one of his people he lives with, a wife, family member, whatever, has COVID, and that he was not feeling so well at all. I haven't seen any reports that he had tested positive for COVID, but it sounded like he was on track.
Apparently he does.
Okay, so he did. A second report came out today that confirmed that at the last set of AEW tapings, which I thought they were all live now, so I don't know what the fuck I was thinking, but at the last set of AEW tapings, apparently there were multiple wrestlers who had the COVID-19. So
now, is that just somebody reporting that, or is that like, oh yeah, confirmed this person has it, this person has it?
No names, because that's yeah, exactly. Who reported it here? I need to find a fucking article myself.
Listen, my idea while before
Sean Ross of Sean Ross sat a Fightful in conjunction with John Alba of Spectrum 360 Sports, multiple wrestlers and talent present at AEW's September 9th tapings tested positive for COVID-19 in the weeks that followed.
Well,
so
you said sloppy shop. So what is that? Is that them not?
Well, you remember Taz's line about WWE running a sloppy shop. He's like, we don't run a sloppy shop down here.
Right. So so what do you do to prevent that?
Not let fans in.
At this point, you think that was it?
Because
you think a fan brought it in?
Because they're testing everybody who comes in. They're doing the temperature scan. I think they're doing the COVID test down there, and they're giving them wristbands. If you watch Dynamite, they have different colored wristbands. And they keep the crowd far enough away, the paying customers, far enough away that you would think it would be fine, but here we are.
Well,
so when you say they're doing when you say they're doing COVID testing, what do you mean by that? Are they?
I have no
swabbing?
Fucking idea.
Are they okay? Boop, temperature. Nope, you're good. Boop, you're good.
That's what I was about to tell you. Is I had heard that they were having them being tested, and they had to get. I'm pretty sure it was AEW that they had to be tested like on the hour or something like that. That they were having them do nasal swabs on the hour. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
If that's the case, how is it a fan that brought it in? if they're testing them.
They're not testing fans. They're testing talent.
No,
Oh, I thought
I
you
heard
said
now.
no.
What?
I heard they were testing. They were testing fans.
I don't know how you can test fans, man. That's like 5,000-6,000. I don't buy that. I've heard that they're testing talent pretty rigorously, but whenever you start letting in, when you start letting in the fans, like you can give them temperature tests, and that's all well and good. But if they're asymptomatic, you're not going to see a temperature on them. So they.
Well, hold on.
I
So
think
it's not only that. Is the I can't keep up with all the current like happenings with COVID. But the last I think I heard of it is that you could be symptomatic up to 2 weeks, or you could be a carrier and a passer of it up to 2 weeks before you show symptoms.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I know this is a little off the rails, here with the COVID thing, but I'm going to say it anyway because I don't give a shit. With temperature scanning people, I understand you're going to catch people that have a fever. So, like, okay, well, you're now showing symptoms. But if it's accurate, and I'm not a conspiracy guy here saying that it's not, I'm saying I haven't kept up on all of the daily ins and outs of COVID. So if it is still a thing that they say you can be carrying and contagious up to 2 weeks before you show symptoms, I don't understand the temperature checks. Because if you have it, but you're not going to show symptoms for up to 2 weeks, you're going to scan perfectly fine. 86.88.98 whatever. Pick a number that's accurate. Yet you're still contagious. You're just not showing symptoms yet. So I don't really understand what the temperature checks are doing other than weeding out people who are currently showing symptoms. If you can spread it up to 2 weeks before you show symptoms, what's that temperature check doing?
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that people were doing that as far back as fucking April. Like, you can't get into the store, let's do the temp check on you.
Right.
That's kind of like a way to say, okay, this guy's definitely, got it. But
That's that's what we're doing at our work. Basically, they have to my clients have to wear masks the whole time. Whenever they come in, they have to do a temperature check, and they basically it's kind of on the honor system, unfortunately. If and I would hope that if any client were to come in and they shouldn't be, that they would not fucking come in, but they have to answer whatever questionnaire, like, have you traveled outside of Pennsylvania in the last 14 days? Have you in the last 21 days, have you had any these symptoms, blah 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 blah. In the last 21 days, have you or anybody in your household tested positive for COVID? Or
right, yeah, it's an honor system thing. But let's not forget that Florida's playing hard and loose with this thing.
Yeah, they have been from day one.
So it's part of it is Florida playing hard and fast and loose. Part of it, but here's the thing though, AEW was doing a great job from fucking March until now with keeping that shit under control. Hangman ? Moxley ? That's pretty much been about it. Like, other than that, but now to have a quote-unquote rash of talent and wrestlers, to me, they 100% jumped the gun with bringing fans in. They were able to control their own environment for so long, and they did a great job with it. But then they thought they were getting the jump on WWE by doing something. They did it, and now here we are.
Well, and I mean that they had to have known. They had to have known the risk they were taking when they welcome fans back in. Even when you look at the crowd shots, they're spaced out pretty good, but people come in with their masks and then pull them down. And I mean, there's so much. That's a bigger conversation about COVID, but like, it's more the fact that like they had to have known what they were getting into when they welcome fans back and kind of open things up and are slowly trying to trickle things back to normal. They had to have known.
I think there's a form of risk that you're going to take whenever you start doing stuff like that. I mean, let's face it. When you have talent who come in and wrestle and then go home to their daily lives, they're going to be interacting with people that are outside of your control. They're going to interact with family. You're going to interact with people at the grocery store, at a restaurant, whatever. There's always risk. Now, you increase the risk, of course, when you allow fans into your building. Oh, pardon me. But, unless you're saying, okay, I'm going to work, and everybody who goes to work goes home, you're in the household with your family, you're quarantined until you come back to work.
We're not
if you do that, that's when you guarantee, okay, our chance of getting this is significantly low. But until you do that, you're running risk.
Well, even in the major sports, whenever you have like with the baseball and NBA or whatever doing basically like the bubble thing, like they weren't even allowed to go home. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, Beef.
No, baseball. No, baseball never did that. Baseball's a bunch of jackasses that got lucky.
Okay, so who did? Just basketball?
Basketball and NHL, and basketball and NHL have had zero problems with it.
So they basically had like literally like a bubble city where the players were there and they weren't going home to their families or anything like that. They were in the bubble. Then you had some jackasses. You had one or two. I think there was actually one guy in the NBA. I don't know if he did get COVID or not, but it got reported that he did like go outside of the bubble. I'm like, you're a fucking schmuck. Like, come on. But I see with the fans
easy
coming,
to say that, but
with the fans coming back in though, even though fans are coming in, are they really having any interaction with the wrestlers? So like if a bunch of wrestlers,
well, and that's the question. But that's my point here is that they went pretty much 6 months with two major. Well, and we don't even know if Hangman had it. Hangman was just gone for a while. Moxley for sure had it, and he was the only really one that anybody knew of. So they went for 6 months basically controlling it, saying, no, we got this. All of a sudden, multiple people are popping up with it.
Well,
like
that's what's being reported. Nothing's confirmed, though, right?
Right, but again, they can't call out names unless they offer them up themselves because of HIPAA.
But what I'm saying is, has AEW actually confirmed that they have multiple wrestlers, or are we going off of so-and-so fucking reported it?
I think it's a combination of both. I think AEW would want to try and lean on the HIPAA thing, like Beef said, and try and keep things under wraps, just because they're so new and because they need to make sure that they are keeping their noses clean. Because when you have a loudmouth like Taz come out and throw shade, it can be a little difficult. But I want to hear the rest of your guys' conversation, but for me, not for you guys, it's getting long in the tooth. I got to get a good night's sleep. I've got big, strong Bard things to do tomorrow, and I've got music stuff to do. I've got a lot of stuff to do. So I'm going to leave the podcast in the capable hands of Tiger Bomb Tom.
Yes, sir. Gotcha.
So,
thanks,
and Ransom. I appreciate it, guys. And very rarely do I duck out early, but I really got to get some sleep. So salutations, my friends. We'll see you later.
Good night, you old beast.
Later, Poot.
See you, Poot. Ski.
Well,
so listen, on this COVID thing,
yeah.
Here's my assumption. And I'm trying to think of this logically from a business standpoint. If it's true that multiple AEW wrestlers have tested positive for COVID, you're going to notice when people aren't there because they're going to have to be away for at least 2 weeks?
Yes.
Yep.
So, you're going to notice that. Guys that are on every single Dynamite, shut up.
Hold on. This is.
No, I'm not done.
But this is an important point to bring up. This was a September 9th taping. So this was, 2 weeks ago already.
Okay. So maybe there were guys missing in other tapings. I don't know. Maybe that's a moot point. But you would have to think that if multiple people tested positive for COVID in AEW, you would think they would have to say, okay, well, we can't have fans in for a while until we're sure this is cleared up. No?
Or maybe what they're doing is, since they did a September 9th taping, maybe they're taping 2 weeks at a time. So that way, if they do identify that there are people that, that are becoming symptomatic or something like that, they have their 2 week buffer there. They don't have to worry about bringing in fans for 2 weeks. And then at the end of that 2 week bubble there, now they can go right back to square one, as long as whatever other talent that they have there isn't testing positive for it. And if there are still talent that are symptomatic or have tested positive or whatever, then they can keep them off as need be. But maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're taping for 2 weeks at a time and going like that. I don't know. Maybe that's. What do you think, Beef?
That is probably likely. Like I said, I had no idea that they were taping at all. I thought that they were all live every week. So. But yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense doing the 2 weeks at a time, because then you run into this exact problem. Okay, well, so-and-so and so-and-so are sick. Okay, well, we have 2 weeks, it's been, that long since we're in there, so it should be fine.
Right.
That way they can still have personnel and people come in. I don't know, man. Like, I don't think AEW would come out and say, hey, we had a bunch of people. WWE never came out and said, hey, we had a bunch of people. They had a bunch of people that went down with it, but they never came out and said it, because it's a black eye on your business. No one wants to fucking admit it. So unless they're like scrutinized by like a fucking judiciary hearing, they're not going to come out and say, oh yeah, no, we had a bunch of people sick with COVID. No,
Well, yeah,
because they want to
boogeyman now.
Right, because they want to continue business as usual, and if they come out and say, "Oh yeah, we had a bunch of people come down with COVID," the fucking commissioner of fucking wrestling is going to show up and be like, "Nope, you guys are done for a while."
Well, let's be fair. If it's in Florida, that's a whole other beast, because look at what's happened recently up in Pennsylvania. Now, I'm not trying to take this into a political realm, but it does tie into wrestling in the fact that as of right now, all the not the mask mandates, but the gathering limitations and the closing of essential versus non-essential businesses, all that our PA governor did here was declared to be unconstitutional. So as it is right now, those particular sets of orders cannot be implemented. Those so
they can't be enforced.
Right, they cannot be enforced as of now currently, unless Governor Wolf's office keeps taking it up through the different chains of courts and actually wins an appeal. Now, I'm not saying that everybody is wise to that. They're gonna just be like, all right, yeah, fuck it, let's start opening everything up, and fuck capacity limitations. Maybe they choose not to. That's on that particular business, but with how you just said, Florida playing it loose and fast comparatively to some other states, like say here in PA, I don't know if the commissioner is really gonna like come down on them hard about it. You know what I mean? So, meh.
I say good for good for PA for rolling that way.
Yeah, I mean, like, not gonna lie, like, I don't know. Never mind. I won't even get into that right now, because I don't want to take it into a political thing. I want to talk about something. I do want to talk about something that was good with AEW, though. I think the Orange Cassidy match with Brody Lee was really good, and the Eddie Kingston promo was really good, and the ensuing match between him and Moxley, I thought it was good, and it was exactly what I expected it to be, just like a hard-hitting, fucking strong style type of match. I know Beef watched it, so Ransom, did you get a chance to watch any or no?
No.
Okay, so Beef, give me your take. How did you view Dynamite as a whole?
Oh, that's a different question.
Okay. All right. what were the good points that stood out to you on Dynamite? Because we were just talking about a bunch of yeah. Give me the good points.
Eddie Kingston's promo. I liked Eddie and Moxley. I don't like Eddie tapping.
He didn't tap. He didn't tap.
Didn't he?
Nope.
Okay.
He passed out.
Okay.
So
then that's better.
So that is that'll be another sticking point that he could say. It's first. It was I was never thrown out of the. I was never eliminated from the Casino Battle Royal. So they gave him the title match last night. You know, I think as a way to kind of smooth that over storyline wise, of course. And two, it'll be I never tapped out. You never made me tap out. I just passed out. There's a difference. You know, if it goes. If I had another chance in there, you know I could take you. But how many times can they pull that card though? I'm not saying like, go to the well on it, but I'm saying it leaves the door open. That's all. But they already have. That's what I'm saying. Like with Brian Cage, because Brian Cage had the towel thrown in on him, and now Eddie Kingston's passing out. I think that's different. I think that's different in the sense of the towel being thrown in versus I never tapped, I just passed out. I think there's a slight difference.
Well, I hate to harken back to previous WWE stuff, but you look at the historic match between Stone Cold and Bret Hart.
Right.
Stone Cold never tapped to the sharpshooter; he passed out. But that was it. That was the end of the thing. Like Stone Cold never tapped, and he could ride that, and he did, rightfully. But there wasn't okay, well, let's have a rematch because Austin, he technically didn't tap. But if your body takes something, kayfabe wise, if your body takes so much that you pass out, well, you clearly lost.
I get that, but there was also the fact of in that Austin Hart match. There were other forces at work where you had that the double turn with this
right.
with Kingston and Moxley. You weren't having that. There wasn't that going on at all. It's just another smarmy heel thing that Kingston could hang his hat on. It's just another bullet in the chamber if he needs it. If he needs it. Not saying they will go back to the well on that, but if they choose to. It could even. It's not even necessarily something that has to grant him a title rematch. It could just be something that happens to come up a little bit in a promo where Kingston just says, I'm the baddest son of a bitch. I never tapped the Moxley. They never eliminated me from the Battle Royal. You think I'm going to let you guys forget that? No, I'm going to remind you who the fuck I am, sort of thing. You know what I mean?
So, other good things about Dynamite last night. I don't know. I to be fair, I was kind of distracted. We were playing Among Us, so my full attention wasn't on it.
Is that only on PC? Correct me if I'm wrong.
It's on mobile too, I think.
Okay, then I got to get it on PC though. People want me to play it.
It's $5, man. It's best $5 I ever spent. But and I've had a lot of Eddie dogs. So but the Dynamite to me, there you go.
Yeah, man.
Was a little lackluster. I'm not endeared with the Inner Circle Private Party Matt Hardy thing. It's like, they tried out Sammy Guevara after he was missing for a week. It's like, hey, we got Sammy. Oh, he's back. Like, okay, cool. I tell you what, and this might be the symptom of the disease rather than the disease, but Cody Rhodes really stuck in my craw last night. First of all, I think it's a wasted opportunity with Orange Cassidy. I would have loved to see him win the television title from Brody Lee. Even if it's a stupid fluke win and Brody Lee just decimates him, at the anniversary show, that's fine. But Cody coming back, absolutely lends to my point that I had about Cody, about him putting himself over versus being more about the talent.
Mhm.
Like, Cody Rhodes spent, I don't know, 4 months or so building up the the TNT title just to lose it to Brody Lee in spectacular fashion. That was the best thing they could have done with that title, was have him lose that way to Brody Lee. So much so that they decimate him and the entire Nightmare family. Great angle. I loved it. It was perfect. They tried out a fucking casket with his, like, the code with the Nightmare flag on it. All good stuff. Cody Rhodes is gone for a cup of coffee, and he comes back with a hair dye job, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's Cody Rhodes! I can't believe he's back!"
Okay, this is a small thing, but can we just get Cody Rhodes with a fucking natural hair color? Like, it's either like he looks like bleach blonde fucking Ken doll, or he looks like he got into his dad's Just for Men and fucking overdid it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, no,
I agree,
and that's no dig at Dusty, rest in peace. You know, that's just saying anybody. He got into his parents' Just for Men stash and fucking just went ham hock on it.
You know, I saw a meme, or maybe it wasn't a meme, maybe it was a post. I don't know what it was. But one of those wrestling forums or Facebook pages posted something about how, you know, for as much as Cody Rhodes proclaims to hate Triple H for what he did, Cody Rhodes is pretty much doing the same thing in AEW that Triple H did.
Yep.
You know,
minus the handlebar mustache and the biker shorts. Yep.
Yes. Like he's got the pyro.
Yep.
You know, he has these grand entrances. He's going over on these talents. He's got all this TV time. So he pretty much was Triple H, all of the, you know, Triple H World Heavyweight title reign. You know, like always on TV, always got the flashiest entrances, always got new tights and the flashiest things.
Yep.
Always going over.
Yep.
Long matches. Like, okay, well.
Whenever he lost to Jericho, MJF, I don't remember who he lost to. I think it was Jericho. That said he couldn't vie for the AEW World Title anymore. We're like, okay, it's a good business move by Cody, and it's a good moral move by Cody. Awesome. Not knowing, of course, that then he would introduce a mid-card title for himself just to kind of like be the mid-card champion guy. I just like the whole fucking TV title thing has stunk to high heavens ever since its inception. The matches have been great, so I can't take that away. The matches have been really, really good, but at the end of the day, it's always been like Cody Rhodes outlasting his talent, just to tap them on the back of the head, be like, good match, kid. You're gonna get here someday.
Well,
to be decimated by Brody Lee, which was great, and then to have this big elaborate fucking like, oh, Cody Rhodes is gone, we don't know for how much longer, only to be back in 2 weeks. Like, what was the fucking point?
They said 5, didn't they? In the backstage promo afterwards.
Probably. I mean,
they could.
It's probably close to that.
I'll give you that. He could have been left out. He could have, let himself out to dry, hang himself out to dry for a little longer. I will say one good thing that came from the fucking, the Cody title, is Ricky Starks, because because his thing was literally, he even said it was supposed to be a one-off thing, and they looked at what he did that match with Cody, and they were just like, yeah, we want to fucking bring you on. So there you go. I mean, Ricky Starks coming in from NWA. Now, I don't know. I don't know if he still has any sort of NWA contract or not. And I know obviously right now, they had Thunder Rosa coming over. So I don't know if NWA is just on hiatus right now with everything due to COVID.
I think they're back, aren't they?
They might be. I don't know.
Now, harkening back to the COVID thing, do you think maybe if it's true that multiple people are diagnosed with COVID and have to be off TV, let's assume they're not doing 2 weeks of TV tapings ahead of time. Is it possible that Cody Rhodes would have stayed gone longer, but they found out like, oh, all these people have tested positive for COVID. Cody's going to have to come back sooner to fill that space. Or do you think that's a no? Like that's a non-factor. Cody's just coming back.
I think it was. I don't think it was a factor. I think it was just Cody coming back.
I agree.
Okay.
I think this is planned from the outset.
Okay.
Which I don't know, man. I just
Do you think you
like
should
I
have stayed
said,
on longer?
Yeah, I think, and when he came back, why right back at the top of the fucking food chain for the mid card title? Like, hey, you lost. Pick up your spot at the back of the fucking line, man. Like, I don't know, man. And I'm a Cody Rhodes guy. Like, I have no problem with Cody Rhodes being like a main event dude. I think he maybe should have beat Jericho and held the title for a while. I would have had no problem with that. But like when it comes to a mid card title, I think it's beneath him. I really do. And the way that the whole thing is just kind of like belittling the talent, it just fucking drives me bonkers. And now, he's in this stupid fucking dog collar match, which I fucking hate stupid gimmicks like that. But maybe him and Brody can make something of it. We'll see. But
Do you think the problem might be what WCW faced, where not that Hogan and the Outsiders, they didn't own any part of WCW, but they had it in their contracts that they had creative control. And of course, Eric Bischoff was part of the NWO, and he had a lot of pull. Do you think it harkens back to Cody Rhodes is in some form of capacity in charge or involved in the backstage stuff? So there's the trouble. Do you think that's a factoring into this, or really not? Because let's face it, it's tempting to say like, well, I own part of this company, or I don't know what his official capacity is with AEW, but he's not just an in-ring talent. He's somebody else, somebody higher up.
Yeah, he's a VP.
Do you think that? Okay, you're all right. So he's the VP. So like, do you think that's a problem where like, oh, he's a VP, but he's also a talent? So there's that temptation to say, well, I can push myself because I'm the vice president. What are you gonna do? Or is that not? Do you think that's not what's happening here?
I mean, that's part of it, but I mean, realistically, like he doesn't have to push himself because like the elite are tight. They've had each other's backs for so long that they're, all that he probably realistically has to do is put a nugget in any of their brains, and they're like, oh yeah, no, that's a great spot for you, Cody. Like, let's keep that up. And they may be the they not say benefactors. They may be the minds controlling that. I don't know. But I just feel like the whole thing is a fucking sham with this whole fucking Cody Rhodes thing. The only thing I liked about Cody Rhodes as TV champion was the fact that the belt was defended every week. I thought that was a cool shtick. And that you never know who was going to crop up, and because Eddie Kingston, same way. Like Eddie Kingston was supposed to be a one and done, he fucking killed it on Dynamite, and now he's back, like as like a big time guy. So
yeah.
Does AEW do rematch clauses, kayfabe, like WWE does?
I'm not
or is
sure.
that not something that they really employ? Because if it is, did Cody Rhodes have his rematch against Brody Lee after he lost the title?
He did not.
No,
They
he
don't
didn't.
really get into the rematch.
The clauses and things like that.
Yeah, they didn't.
Because
They haven't
Jericho
done that yet.
never. Yeah, Jericho hasn't, and Kenny and Hangman didn't. Although Kenny was very clever by saying that he chose not to do that, and he wanted them removed from the tag team rankings because he's focusing on his individual career. Like so Kenny had a good excuse for it, but yeah, I mean they really haven't focused on like the whole rematch clause thing, which again is fine. Like that makes sense to me. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It just this whole thing with Cody just rubs me the wrong way, and maybe that influenced my like taste in the mouth of Dynamite. And I liked. So here's something that I did like about Dynamite as well. At the end of the show, where the Eddie Kingston family and the FTW club kind of came together as like one functioning unit and stood over Moxley. That I thought was pretty telling and pretty cool looking. So I don't know, like again,
Oh.
it's a sorry, go ahead.
I know Ransom's gonna ask who's in it.
Yeah, so Eddie Kingston's family is Penta El Zero M, and Ray Phoenix and Butcher and Blade, and obviously Eddie Kingston. And Taz's guys are Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. And so, like that was a really cool moment, like seeing two heel stables come together. AEW does have a lot of stables.
Yeah.
Has there been a next opponent for Moxley's title?
Yes.
Yeah.
Lance Archer. Yeah, Lance Archer. Soon it's going to be at the it's going to be on the anniversary show of Dynamite. So they're 1 year
assuming
anniversary.
he's cleared to compete.
Well,
which he should be.
He should be by the time that comes up. So I think the fact that Archer wasn't going to be on Dynamite last night, and they knew that, and then it just kind of ties into the story too, that with the Eddie never being eliminated from the Battle Royal, that kind of that's a good way to still tie stuff in. One other thing
I do want to ask something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can't remember if we settled on whether we're doing picks for the anniversary show or not, but do you
I think we did.
Did we? Okay. So do you think they treat this anniversary show as a super big deal? A big deal enough to have their main title change hands on a Dynamite?
I would say, is it going to feel like a big enough deal that could happen? Yes. Will it? I'm still kind of unsure, because I'm not sure how far they want to ride this Moxley thing out. And we've talked about it before, where there's a lot more viable heels to challenge a face champion than vice versa. But with Kenny focusing on his singles career, you could have Archer hold on to that title for a while, and you could find that could be the way that they get Kenny Omega over as your next face AEW champion. I mean, that's a possibility.
I don't think he's going to be a face, though. I've been screaming from the top of my lungs that I think the cleaner's back, and he's going to be a heel all the way.
That could very well be the case. So it's hard to say what they're going to do. I mean, but in the realm of things, I feel like they could easily turn somebody face to heel or heel to face if they wanted to, like, very quickly. A lot. I don't know what it is. It feels like just because everybody's kind of a little bit of a tweener anyways, at some points, like, I feel like it's easier for AEW to do something like that storyline wise. I mean, there's definitely some like very standout heels like MJF. Like, MJF is never going to be a face in AEW. You know what I mean? We appreciate him, and I think he's like the greatest thing since sliced bread when it comes to any sort of heel wrestler. But in the eyes of the fans, MJF is never going to be anything but a shit-eating heel. And I love the little exchange with him and Jericho backstage. That was really good stuff.
Yeah, that was, and I feel like they're angling up with something with them too.
Oh,
which
absolutely.
again, I'd be 100% fine with. I think that'd be a good call for them to do. But I don't know, man. I would love to see Archer win the title. I'm an Archer guy. But if it feels like they have big sights set on Moxley's title run. If they weren't going to give it to MJF, I don't think they're going to give it to Archer. I don't think it's going to be Cage. I think it may well be Kenny Omega to be the guy that beats him, and then have Hangman Page be the guy who beats Kenny Omega.
Okay.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Ooh.
But that's a long ass fucking story because I think that Kenny Omega's gonna hold it for a while too.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
Well, before we end on the one good note that I had mentioned earlier, do we have a Stump the Chumps?
Um,
Oh. I'm sorry.
maybe.
Maybe.
Probably. Maniac's pretty good about getting those in our inbox. We do. Yes, we do. So here's the question:
Okay.
the first match of the 1995 Survivor Series featured the team of the Underdogs versus the Body Donnas. Each team made a substitution for the match. Who were the original wrestlers that were substituted, and who were they substituted with? Oof.
This is right up your alley, Beef.
Yeah, right. I haven't seen. I don't do a lot of Survivor Series benches. I do a lot of Rumble, WrestleMania, and SummerSlam benches, but not a lot of Survivor Series benches.
I can tell you right now, I don't fucking know at all. I don't even know the rest of the team that was still in it in the '95 Survivor Series.
Oh yeah, I know.
I have no idea.
Whew.
Say that question again. I want to make sure I heard it right.
The first match of the 1995 Survivor Series featured the team of the Underdogs versus the Body Donnas. Each team made a substitution for the match. Who were the original wrestlers that were substituted, and who were they put in? Like who was put in for them?
I thought
The Body Donnas obviously being Skip and Zip.
Yeah, those two. But then
Who would have tagged with them? Probably the Heavenly Bodies. I'm betting. I don't know why that just skips in my that just clicks in me. I have no idea who to think of the Underdogs though. Like probably the 1, 2, 3 Kid at the very least.
well, who are the heavenly bodies?
I could have sworn we talked about this at one point.
Tom Pritchard and Gigolo Jimmy Del Rey.
Ugh.
So the Underdogs.
He wants what?
He wants
Who? So
he wants the okay. So like of the team that was there, that was actually in the match. One of those people was a substitute that got brought in. So he wants who was the substitute that got brought in, and who was the wrestler that they actually replaced? Like who was originally supposed to be on it that got replaced? But he doesn't want the full team listing, just that the one wrestler that got replaced and then who replaced them from each team.
Okay, we talked about this at some point. I don't know if it was a previous Stump the Chumps question. I don't think so, because I don't think he would have repeated. So that means this would have been a question that came up in Hot Tag Trivia, because I absolutely remember this. Now I could be wrong. Maybe this was on a different wrestling podcast I listened to. But I know either we talked about it or I listened to it on a podcast. The 1, 2, 3 Kid and Bob Holly, I believe, were the ones that were substituted in.
really?
Now, who they were substituted
See, I would have put
for,
them. See, I would have put them in on the Underdogs team to begin with. I would have put the 1, 2, 3 Kid and Sparky Plug as like, the anchors of the Underdog team to begin
No,
with.
they were on opposing teams.
Okay.
The 1, 2, 3 Kid and Hardcore Holly, or Bob Holly, Spark Plug, whatever he was called at the time, they were on
Sparky Plug,
opposing
yeah.
teams. So those two were definitely the ones that were substituted in.
Okay.
Now, the people that were substituted out, I don't know if we talked about that.
This is all new information to me, man. I don't remember a damn bit of this, so this may have been something that you've seen somewhere else.
Was it? Maybe it was. Okay, hold on. Let me think back. All right, I'm positive on those two subbing in.
Okay.
Now, I'm also 80% sure that one of the people that were substituted out was Avatar. Now, I'm not sure which one of those guys substituted for him.
Who the fuck was Avatar?
Oh,
Are you thinking of Mantar?
no, Avatar. That was one of Al Snow's gimmicks.
Avatar?
Like before he was Al Snow, he was Avatar.
Okay.
Okay, so he probably would have been on the underdogs team, I'm betting.
So Bob Holly substituted in for Avatar.
Okay.
Now, who the heck did the 1, 2, 3 Kids substitute in for? 95. Who is in 95?
This is all you, man. You sound like you have a fucking great beat on this, so I'm just gonna let you do you.
Shoot. 95. There are a few guys that come to mind for 95.
Was it possible that Skip and or Zip didn't make the match?
No, they were both in it.
Okay.
They were the Body Donnas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't Zip also Crash Holly, if I'm remembering correctly?
Was he? No, Crash Holly wasn't that old.
Yeah, they were different people.
I mean,
they were different.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I could be wrong, but I didn't think Crash Holly was that old that he would have been one of the Body Donnas. Oh, pardon me. If I'm going to go out on a limb, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I can't remember this guy's full name, but it was something French.
Jean-Pierre Lafitte?
Yes, that's it. Jean-Pierre Lafitte. Who else was he? Was he somebody else?
He was one of the Quebecers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wait, isn't Jean-Pierre Lafitte
The Mountie?
What the fuck? No. What the fuck is his name in Ring of Honor? The big fucking monster dude.
Oh,
He's part of PCO. Yeah, that's Jean-Pierre Lafitte, I believe.
Oh, okay. Okay,
all right.
So now which I'm trying to figure out which team was the face team and which team was the heel team, because the underdogs, it sounds like, would be the face team, right?
The underdogs were the Body Donnas team, because that's the team that Hardcore Holly substituted in for.
Okay.
What?
Hardcore Holly substituted in on the Body Donnas team.
Okay, so hardcore. So the Body Donnas were the heels then. So hardcore would have been.
Yes, the Body Donnas was the underdogs team that Hardcore Holly swapped.
It was the underdogs. It was the underdogs versus the Body Donnas.
Was it though?
That's what that's what the Maniac says.
What do you say?
Yeah, it was there was two teams, Team Underdog versus Team Body Donnas. So Team Body Donnas probably would have been the Skip and Zip, and then probably the Heavenly Bodies, Pritchard and fucking Jimmy Gigolo, fucking what's his nuts.
No. Tom Pritchard was actually Zip.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
Which
that was
is
Tom Pritchard. Okay,
fucking...
no, the underdogs were not the Body Donnas.
Right. So we have Holly in for Quang, or Avatar, excuse me, on the underdogs team.
Yes.
The 1, 2, 3 Kid on the heel team, replacing Jean-Pierre Lafitte.
Yes,
Okay.
that's it.
That's
right.
Go with that. I 100% go with that, because sometimes
And who cares who the rest of the teams were as long as we got what we needed to get.
I know we talked about. I swore we talked about this before.
You're probably
Maniac.
not wrong.
That's so fresh in my memory, but I don't remember going back and rewatching this match.
Yeah.
So I don't think I got it from there.
Maniac says, well, no more WCW questions for a while. You are destroying my confidence. The answer is, son of a bitch.
Did we get
Bob
it again?
Hawley was subbing in for Avatar, a.k.a. Al Snow and the Underdogs, and the 1-2-3 Kid bought Jean-Pierre Lafitte's position for the Body Donnas.
Yep.
Holy
I
shit,
know
Ransom.
we had to have talked about that before.
We did at some point. I don't remember why. I think it did come up
was
as
it
a
Survivor Series question,
It
or if
was.
it was a question about it was something.
it was a hot tag trivia question. It had to have been.
Okay.
Had to have been.
Like I don't remember listening to that on a different podcast. I could have swore we talked about that.
In fucking
know who would have
Ransom
asked
we
who.
trust.
That's
Ah.
insanity, yo.
So wait, which team was which?
So I'm opening up the wiki here.
Just so I'm aware, because it sounded like
I don't know who was all on the Body Donnas team other than them and
So-
Holly.
The Body Donnas was 1-2-3 Kid, Dr. Tom Pritchard, Rad Radford, and Skip. Defeated the Underdogs, Barry Horowitz, Bob Holly, Hakushi, and Marty Jannetty.
wow.
Oh, Marty Jannetty.
It's weird because they definitely had some mixture. Like Hakushi maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. Was Hakushi the one that had all the fucking
Yes.
the tattoos all over him?
The tattoos.
Wasn't
Yep.
he a heel? So they had faces and heels mixed together. That's what was throwing me off.
Well,
That's
because
yeah.
there was the time there was a time where where he had like a small like face run.
Moonlighted as a face.
Okay.
Right.
That's what was confusing
because
me.
this was the 1-2-3 Kid heel run as like part of the $1 Million Man's the $1 Million
$1 Million Corporation.
whatever they were.
Oh fuck!
Yes.
I don't even remember that happening. I just remember him, rolling up Razor and then fucking that. So
And skedaddle.
Oh yeah, no heel 1-2-3 Kid I think was best 1-2-3 Kid. To be honest,
well, yeah.
that was a good question by Maniac, but you cannot stump the Ransom apparently.
Yeah,
the other two chumps are stumped, but Ransom FTW here.
Yeah.
That Jean-Pierre Lafitte one was throwing me.
Yeah.
If you hadn't have said it, I wouldn't have remembered his last name.
Yeah.
I just knew it was Jean-Pierre French.
I think I only remember that because he feuded with Bret Hart.
Yeah.
Ah.
I don't think there's really anything else to cover besides burrito time, and I'll get to that bit of good news whenever we plug the sponsors. So, is there anything else? Is there anything else we missed?
Do we still do that?
Yeah, fuck
Big.
yeah, we do. You know why?
Hit that sponsor so that there isn't nepotism.
Yeah, because hey, I do it quite well without the nepotism. Thank you very much.
We would like to thank our wonderful sponsors, Tiger Bomb Tom, as a casual
Okay.
gaming dad in another life. He streams
Gamer
some
cut.
of the best and fun games out there. Tom, what were you? I saw you got some katanas for a World War Z there the other day. So that's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah,
You were what were you playing the other day that really piqued my interest? I see you playing Cuphead all the time, and I'm like,
Oh.
it looks like a fun game.
Oh, so well, I started in on the Mario 3D All Stars collection. So I started doing Mario Galaxy from that. Let's see, I've been doing little double headers of Cuphead and Fall Guys. And then I was also doing the newly released Battletoads game, like this one from this year or whatever. It literally came out just like last month or so. So
Hey, I have
know.
a question.
Yeah, what's up?
Are you going to shoot for a full 120-star run on Mario 64?
Probably not. Maybe at some point, but it's not on my radar, honestly. And I can
That
tell
would
you,
take a shit ton of time.
not necessarily.
No?
I mean,
maybe that game was harder than I remember, or easier than I remember.
we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I know I've come close if I haven't done it before already, but But yeah, I figure I'll do Mario Galaxy because I hadn't played that in a while. But yeah, we got the katanas on World War Z as a melee weapon. Basically, to do that, you have to beat any level on the hardest difficulty that there is, which is a fucking nightmare. So, yeah, got that.
Damn.
Done. We got that done.
Congrats on that, and then of course we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Monday Night Mario Kart. That's always an event.
Yes,
So much fun.
it is.
With special guest Ransom here and there. Yeah, man, that's
And if I get
always entertaining.
And if I manage to get some Among Us going, you'll have to jump on with me.
Oh my God, yeah.
Actually,
if we
you know
can...
what? Well, I mean, depending on when this gets uploaded or anything, but Saturday evening, I'll probably be doing a stream, and I think I'm gonna try to do Among Us. Now, I had other fellow Team Gould members that were talking about possibly doing this or whatever. But nobody said for sure what they're doing yet, so I don't know if you're available or whatever, and you want to jump on, we could always do that.
Yeah, I may have to do that. It's basically like One Night Ultimate Werewolf in space. It's fun. I'm a big fan. We had a frolic with it last night, and it was like there was literally a time where my buddy Zach was like chasing me through like the one part of the ship for like it felt like 3 minutes, and I thought for sure that he was going to kill me, and we just went our separate ways. It was great.
Huh.
Good stuff. And then obviously we definitely want to thank our other sponsor, Mr. Sean Tischler, for the work that he continues to do with making independent wrestling great again, and helping bringing the cultural black hole that is Clearfield, Pennsylvania, some wonderful stepping out on a Saturday night whenever IWC is in town. Obviously things have been wrecked this year. It sucked because the cage was coming back, and cage matches always roll. But this they can't last forever, right?
Right.
So just continue. Props to IWC and to Imagine for doing things the right way and doing things out of the box, man. IWC running out of drive-ins and out of the Washington Wild Things Park, like just very smart decisions are being made with independent wrestling to keep the fire burning. So get out there and support them when you see them. Get out there and support them. They're a small business like anybody else. So help them out in this time.
And as we've mentioned many times before, support your local indies, because the wrestlers that you see out there on the card now, are going to be the stars that you see on TV of tomorrow and stuff. And point in truth right there is Mr. Mumbo Italiano. Now you may have seen him wrestle on NXT on Wednesday night. I'm trying to remember the guy's first name, something Holland. The British fella,
Rich Holland, yeah.
Rich Holland, yes. So I mean, yeah, he was in. It was pretty much more or less a squash. But the fact is if you go on Facebook and you see Mumbo Italiano and you follow him or anything, he was very, very grateful for the opportunity, because that's you learn by doing, you learn by getting in there. Even if it is a squash match, there's stuff that you learn backstage and things of that nature, and a chance to sit there and rub shoulders with some veterans and stuff like that, and quote unquote and like legends of the business. Who knows, maybe he got to pick HBK's brain for a little bit, or Triple H. I mean, I'm not a professional wrestler, and I'd love to fucking sit there and pick their brains. You know what I mean? So, but Mumbo Italiano made an NXT on TV debut there. He's I believe it was Antonio Del Luca.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really cool to see him, our boy Mambo. So big shout out to him, and every other wrestler in the IWC promotion. Wish nothing but good things for all of them moving forward in the future, and hopefully we're able to get out and see some more shows here in the very near future. You guys got anything else before I officially burrito this?
Nope.
Gentlemen, we're getting along in the tooth.
Oh.
All right. Well, don't forget,
Catchphrase.
don't forget, guys, to if you're listening, please continue to support the podcast here. Go check it out. You can catch us on Google Podcasts, Spotify. You can catch us on Anchor.fm app. We also upload episodes to YouTube and Facebook. Just search for Pittsburgh Pile Driver Podcast. Again, want to thank our sponsors, Casual Gaming Dad and Sean Tischler, with the work that he does with IWC. Don't forget to pick up a P3 shirt. You can catch that over in Casual Gaming Dad's section of the shop at Gould Gaming. So thank you to them for putting that shirt up there. And I think that pretty much does it. I think we've covered all our bases tonight. So thank you, fellas, for a wonderful chat as always on a nice Thursday night.
Yeah, and
Take us home there, Beef.
enjoy Clash of the Night of the Champions of the Dead this week, and NXT. Let's just throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks next week. And the AEW, we hope we don't have COVID next at our anniversary show the week after. So
a lot of picks coming up.
Yeah, in all seriousness, again, they're oh my god, I forgot to fucking mention the G1. I haven't said word fucking one about it. Night 1 was last Saturday, fucking amazing. Night 2 just as good. It's very compacted this year, so like make some time, check it out. Go see Minoru Suzuki, fucking 50-year-old man hanging out with fucking 20-year-olds looking like a man. So just go check out NJPW. Awesome time of the year for wrestling right now, so just get out there, enjoy it, take it all in, and don't flash your taint on the Thunderdome.
And I was gonna say, are you gonna give your own separate little G1 review at some point that people can look forward to?
I may. I have actually only seen Night 1 because I kind of forgot about Night 2, and then football, and then night. Like I said, it's truncated because normally. The last couple years, like it's taken place mostly on like Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. So like the time difference. You wake up and it's like I could get a bowl of cereal or strawberries or whatever, and I'm sitting there eating, watching my New Japan. This year because of the COVID, because normally it takes place over the course of like the summer. This year because of the COVID, it's obviously truncated. So they're kind of like putting through some like weird days. So I'm kind of catching bits and pieces here. But everything that I've seen has been rock and roll. So,
Cool.
yeah, and I mean, I can't speak highly enough of New Japan. If you are a fan of classic wrestling, like where the stories are contained in the matches and there's no fucking filler bullshit, go check out NJPW. But yeah, just like I said, enjoy all the great wrestling going on. Don't make an ass out of yourself on Thunderdome, and hope that Beef continues to win the Chooserweight Championship for the
There's the
Madman,
nepotism.
the Mad King, Mr. Alec Ransom, for our despondent buddy who's sleeping for music time tomorrow, Puta Bard, for Uppercut himself, Mr. Tiger Bomb Tom. This is your reigning, defending, and forever everybody's favorite Chooserweight champion, Beef the Legend, saying we'll see you next week.
That's fucking debatable.
Yep. Nope.